Right now in South Korea, a single Instagram message is tearing families apart. And it all started with a ghost account and a few words that felt like a digital landmine. Imagine you're a regular guy, maybe not the most tech-savvy person in the world, just living your life, working hard and trying to be a good husband. You don't spend your day scrolling through social media, but one afternoon you check your requests and see a message from a total stranger. It doesn't have a long explanation or a list of evidence. It just says, do a paternity test on your kid, LOL. That little LOL at the end is the real kicker, isn't it? It's a tiny sharp needle of doubt injected right into the heart of a home. This isn't a scene from a movie, it's a real-life crisis that exploded on one of the biggest women-only online forums in the country. A sister posted the story about her brother who found this message 1 week after it was sent. But here's the crazy part. The sister wasn't worried about whether the message was true. She was absolutely disgusted that her brother would even think about actually doing the test. She called it a betrayal, a slap in the face to the wife and a sign that the trust was dead. It's like finding a mysterious puddle in your basement and being told that calling a plumber is a hate crime against the house. Why are we so afraid of the truth that we'd rather let the foundation rot? But why would anyone actually demand a test over a random message from a stranger? It sounds paranoid, right? Well, you have to understand the brutal, cold-blooded way relationships are being looked at lately. We aren't talking about romance and poetry anymore. We are talking about the marriage market as if it's a high-stakes stock exchange. There's a specific term people are throwing around called dishwashing. It sounds domestic, but it's actually a nasty way of describing a marriage, where a man who spent his entire youth studying and working his tail off finally makes enough money to be a provider, only to marry a woman who had her wild years with everyone else, and is now looking for someone to clean up the mess. The husband is the dishwasher, cleaning the plates after a party he wasn't even invited to. He provides the financial stability, the house, and the future, while the wife gets to retire from her previous life. When that anonymous message pops up, it's not just about a baby. It's about the husband realizing he might be paying for a product that was falsely advertised. In a world where everything is a transaction, nobody wants to feel like they got cheated on the most expensive deal of their life. So, why does this specific story turn from a simple doubt into a full-blown cultural war because of a tiny detail? The sister originally left out a large rose tattoo located right under the wife's chest. In the local online culture, that specific tattoo isn't just art, it's a warning label. It has become a hyper-specific symbol for a certain kind of past that doesn't exactly scream stable domestic mother. Think of it like a secret code to the husband. And the people watching this drama unfold, that tattoo is the smoking gun. It represents a version of the wife he never knew existed, a version that was perhaps a lot more adventurous and a lot less traditional than the persona she presented when they got married. This is where the local madness really kicks in. People aren't just arguing about DNA anymore. They are arguing about whether a woman has the right to a secret past. On one side, you have people saying that everyone has a history and it shouldn't matter. On the other side, you have guys who feel like they are being scammed into an investment based on a curated fake image. It's a collision between the modern desire to be whoever you want and the ancient obsession with knowing exactly what you're buying into. Why does a piece of ink hold so much power? Because in a society built on appearances and high-speed plastic surgery, biological reality is the only thing left that can't be faked. What happened when the brother actually started considering the test? The whole internet took sides and the hypocrisy started leaking out of every corner. The sister and her friends on the forum kept screaming about trust, but the irony is that they are the ones who created the zero-trust environment. They talk about how cruel it is to doubt a woman, yet they celebrate the idea of concealing a past to secure a better husband. It's a total contradiction. You can't demand total trust while simultaneously holding a secret map of a life your partner isn't allowed to see. The cold logic of the market is finally catching up to these demands. If you treat marriage like a business deal where the man provides a paycheck and the woman provides a specific image, you can't be surprised when the man asks for an audit. The system is failing because it was built on a gentleman's agreement in an age where nobody feels like a gentleman anymore. We have the technology to know the truth in a few days with a simple swab, but we have a social structure that treats that swab like a weapon of mass destruction. Is this just a local obsession, or is it something deeper that the whole world is struggling with? If you look around, the trust deficit is everywhere. Take France, for example, where it's actually illegal to do a private paternity test. You can get fined or even thrown in jail just for trying to find out if your kid is actually yours. The government there says they do it to preserve family peace. Think about that for a second. The state is literally making the truth a crime to protect a social illusion. It's the ultimate global absurdity, whether it's a rose tattoo in Seoul or a legal ban in Paris. The message is the same. The truth is dangerous. We have all this incredible technology that could give us total transparency, but we are collectively choosing to live in a house of cards. Because we're terrified of what happens when the wind blows, we are moving toward a future where trust is replaced by mandatory verification. We might see a world where a paternity certificate is just as common as a birth certificate, or where your entire dating history is stored in a searchable database. It sounds like a nightmare, but in a world where everyone is trying to sell a version of themselves that doesn't exist, verification is the only thing people are willing to pay for. How do we even fix a system that is this broken? The truth is, we probably can't. We are caught in a cycle where the more we hide, the more people suspect. And the more they suspect, the more we hide. It's a race to the bottom of the ocean. The husband in this story is stuck in a checkmate. If he does the test, the marriage is over because he broke the illusion of trust. If he doesn't do the test, he spends the rest of his life looking at his child and wondering if he's a father or just a bank account. It's a lose-lose situation born from a society that values the appearance of a perfect life over the messy reality of a real one. We've turned relationships into a game of who can hide the most while taking the most, and then we act shocked when the whole thing collapses because of a single Instagram message. In the end, it all feels like a cruel joke, doesn't it? We've built this high-tech, shiny civilization where we can communicate with anyone instantly, but we've never been further apart. We have DNA sequencing that can map the very building blocks of life, yet we use it as a tool for divorce court. The whole situation is like holding a lottery ticket with a used stamp on the back. You spent your whole life working for that ticket, you followed all the rules, and you finally think you won the grand prize of a happy, stable family. But then you flip it over and see that someone else already claimed the prize years ago, and you're just holding the leftover paper. The paternity test isn't even the point anymore. Even if the kid is his, the trust is gone because the secret was there all along. We are all just trying to find a fresh start in a world that feels like it's already been used up. We want to believe in the fairy tale, but we keep finding the price tags left on the glass slippers. Why are we so obsessed with the past? Maybe it's because we've lost faith in the future. If you can't trust the person sleeping next to you, who can you trust? The anonymous messenger who sent that DM knew exactly what they were doing. They weren't just exposing a secret, they were exposing the fragility of the entire social contract. They proved that all it takes is one little nudge to make the whole tower of lies come crashing down. And as we watch the rubble pile up, we have to ask ourselves if we'd rather live with a beautiful lie or a devastating truth. Most people would say they want the truth, but when it's their house on the line, they start looking for reasons to look the other way. So here we are, living in a world of rose tattoos and hidden messages, where every smile is a potential mask and every baby is a potential legal dispute. It's a cynical way to live, but it's the world we've built by treating each other like commodities instead of human beings. We've turned love into a transaction. And then we're surprised when the customer wants a refund. The irony is that in our quest for safety and stability, we've created the most unstable environment imaginable. We've replaced the human connection with the digital audit, and we're wondering why we feel so empty. The brother, the wife, the sister, they are all just players in a game that no one can win. The final irony of the whole saga is that the more we try to protect the image of the family, the more we destroy the actual family. By making the truth a betrayal, we ensure that trust can never truly exist. You can't have trust without the possibility of verification, just like you can't have a currency without a gold standard. Without that biological anchor, everything just becomes a performance. We're all just actors on a stage, hoping the audience doesn't see the tattoos under our costumes. We're gambling on authenticity in a market full of counterfeits, and the house always wins by keeping us in a state of constant low-level war with each other. Is there a way out? Maybe, but it would require a level of honesty that most people aren't ready for. It would mean admitting that we are all flawed, that we all have a past, and that marriage shouldn't be a business merger based on a fake brochure. Until then, we'll keep seeing these stories pop up. We'll keep seeing lives destroyed by a single LOL in a DM. We'll keep searching for the truth while simultaneously running away from it as fast as we can. It's a strange, sad, and darkly hilarious comedy of errors that we're all starring in together. Fuel the truth at Dating in Korea. Support the structure. Stay safe in the lounge.